There's a plant growing across Asia that forces your skin to produce its own collagen. Not a serum, not a supplement, but a living plant that grows in a pot and spreads on its own. Yet, the skincare industry worth over $120 billion has never told you its name. By the end of this video, you will know how to grow an unlimited collagen supply for almost nothing. Hey, before we get into it, if you want to learn what the longest living people on Earth are growing and eating in the blue zones, go check out the Centenarian's Garden. Trust me, these are the secrets to living past 100 that nobody is talking about. Walk into a pharmacy on a side street in Music, Bangkok tonight. Behind the wooden counter, you will see dried leaves and glass jars sitting beside turmeric and lemongrass. Thai grandmothers buy these leaves every week. Music. They brew them into a morning tea. They crush them into a paste and smooth it onto their skin before bed. Music. They have done this for generations. They are not buying collagen creams from department store counters. They are growing their own collagen supply in clay pots beside their front doors. Music. Fly to Seoul, South Korea. Walk into any Olive Young beauty store on a busy shopping street. Music. One entire aisle is dedicated to products built around a single plant extract. Bright green packaging lines the shelves from floor to ceiling. Korean women spend billions on creams and serums and sheet masks featuring this one ingredient. The name is printed on every third product. Western tourists walk through that aisle without any idea what they are looking at. Now visit a village in the central highlands of Sri Lanka. Children sit at wooden tables, eating breakfast before school. Their mothers have mixed fresh green leaves into a rice porridge called kola kenda. This is not medicine. This is a Tuesday morning. The same way an American child eats oatmeal, these children eat a plant, music, that triggers collagen production in human skin cells. In India, Ayurvedic practitioners have prescribed this herb for skin healing and wound repair for longer than Western medicine has existed as a discipline. Ancient Sanskrit texts describe it as a plant of longevity. Healers in Kerala and Tamil Nadu mixed it into oils and puces for burns, scars, and aging music skin. The records fill thousands of pages in manuscripts that Western researchers never translated. Here is the first clue that something went wrong. You know retinol, you know hyaluronic acid, you know vitamin C serums and niacinamide and peptides. These ingredients sit in every Western drugstore. But this plant used by more people than all of those ingredients combined does not exist in Western music skincare consciousness. Most Americans have never heard any of its names. The problem begins with language. Music Thai healers call it buk. Koreans call it bongpul, which means soldier grass. Music. In India, it is brahmi. In China, it is GI cow. Western beauty brands shortened it to a single word, CICA. 5 music names for one plant. No unified identity in Western languages. Compare music, this to retinol. One name. One globally marketed ingredient backed by decades of English language research and billions of dollars in advertising. When an ingredient has one name, it gets one shelf position, one reputation, one place in every dermatologist recommendation. This plant never received that unification. Each encounter with it felt foreign. Each culture kept its own name. The fragmentation was not intentional. The result was total erasure from Western shelves, Western textbooks, and Western bathrooms. The ancient record tells a completely different story. In India over 2,000 years ago, scholars compiled some of the earliest medical texts in human history. This plant appears in those pages. Healers described using the leaves to repair wounds and regenerate damaged skin. They considered it essential for longevity and mental clarity. Yogis in the Himalayas consumed it before meditation to sharpen the mind. The herb was not obscure. It was foundational to an entire medical tradition. In traditional Chinese medicine, physicians documented it as a wound healer and circulation stimulant. Chinese herbalists considered it one of the keys to a long life. The reverence lasted centuries across dynasties and never faded. But the most striking piece of history comes not from any medical text. It comes from observation. Across music, Southeast Asia, village healers watched wounded tigers in the jungle seek out patches of this specific plant. The animals rolled in its leaves. The wounds healed faster than expected. Villagers gave the plant a new name, tiger grass. They began applying the crushed leaves to their own music, cuts, burns, and aging skin. The observation was not scientific, but the practice worked. Music. It continued for centuries without interruption. In 1942, French physicians working in Madagascar developed a pharmaceutical wound healing treatment from an extract of this plant. That product became a licensed medicine used in hospitals across Europe for the next 80 years. Western medicine music quietly turned this plant into a pharmaceutical product. But no one ever told Western consumers they could grow the source plant themselves in a pot on their windowsill for less than $5. There is a reason you have been kept waiting to hear the name. Once you hear it, you will realize that you have already seen it. You have walked past it in beauty stores. You have scrolled past it in ingredient lists. You've been paying for it in products without ever knowing what it was. The plant is Centella asiatica. In the West, the few people who recognize it call it goto cola. In the beauty industry, it goes by Sika. In Asia, it has names in a dozen languages. But across every name and every culture, it does the same thing. It signals human skin cells to produce their own collagen. This is the ingredient that built the Korean skincare revolution. South Korean beauty exports to the United States grew by more than 50% in 2024 alone. Korean women were not chasing a trend. They were buying what their grandmothers already knew. The rest of the world is only now beginning to understand what 500 million people in Asia have understood for centuries. But there is a reason you need to understand what this plant actually does inside your body, because once you see the science, you will never look at your bathroom cabinet the same way again. Here is what happens inside your skin. Centella asiatica contains 4 key compounds: asiaticide, mycosocide, asiatic acid, and macasic acid. These molecules do not sit on the surface of your skin the way a moisturizer does. They penetrate into the deeper layers and activate cells, called fibroblasts. These are the cells responsible for building collagen. The plant tells your body to produce more of its own structural protein, not from a needle, not from a synthetic capsule, from your own cells, the way your body did naturally when you were 20 years old. Beyond collagen, the same compounds reduce inflammation, calm redness, strengthen the skin barrier, and speed up wound healing. In clinical testing, people using a Centella-based treatment saw a significant reduction in pore size and skin roughness in just 15 days of regular application. One plant doing the work of an entire shelf of products. Now consider retinol, the ingredient that Western dermatology celebrates above all others. The retinol skincare market was valued at roughly $78 billion in 2024. It is the active ingredient in products that cost $50, $100, sometimes $200 per bottle. Retinol works. Nobody disputes that. But retinol also causes irritation, peeling, redness, dryness, and increased sensitivity to sunlight. These side effects are so common that the skincare industry created an entire category of recovery products designed to repair the damage that retinol itself causes. Think about that for a moment. An industry selling you a second product to fix the problems created by the first. Researchers who tested Centella asiatica directly against retinoids found something remarkable. Centella improved wrinkles at comparable levels. Skin hydration increased with Centella, but did not increase with the retinoid treatment. And here's the number that should stop you cold. The Centella group reported roughly 1/3 the side effects of the retinoid group. Comparable wrinkle reduction, superior moisture, far. Fewer adverse reactions. The evidence has existed for years. Walk into any American pharmacy tonight and ask about Centella asiatica. The blank stare you receive tells you everything about where the money flows. So if the clinical evidence exists, if the plant performs as well as retinol with fewer side effects, why has no Western dermatologist ever told you to grow it? The answer is not medical. The answer is financial. The global skincare market reached $122 billion in 2025. It runs on one principle: ingredients that can be synthesized, patented, controlled, and sold at enormous markup. Retinol fits that model perfectly. It is manufactured in factories. Its formulations generate intellectual property. Encapsulated retinol, time-release retinol, buffered retinol. Each version creates a new product line. Each product line creates revenue. The complexity builds barriers to entry. The barriers protect profit margins. Now consider Centella asiatica. It is a creeping perennial herb that spreads through runners the way mint spreads, without any help from the grower. A single starter plant purchased from a nursery for $3 to $5 fills a container within months. The fresh leaves can be crushed and applied directly to skin. No extraction technology required. No encapsulation patent needed. No factory, no supply chain, no subscription service. A plant that spreads itself cannot generate repeat sales. A leaf that works fresh cannot justify processing fees. A herb that anyone can grow on a windowsill cannot be controlled by a corporation. Centella asiatica does not threaten one skincare product. It threatens the entire model. What cannot be owned cannot be sold. What cannot be sold cannot music be marketed. What cannot be marketed disappears from public awareness. 3 generations of Westerners grew up without ever hearing the name Centella asiatica. Not because anyone hid it, because no one profited from revealing it. This is not a conspiracy. This is economics. Companies fund research that supports their products. They do not fund research that makes their products unnecessary. Search the major databases for retinol skincare studies, and you will find thousands. Search for Centella asiatica, and you will find a fraction of that number. The ratio exists not because retinol works better. It exists because retinol has corporate funding. Centella research comes primarily from Korean government labs, Thai university hospitals, and Indian research institutions. The knowledge exists. It just exists in languages and journals that the Western system, music historically, ignored. Enough about the industry. Let us talk about your windowsill. Centella iatica grows outdoors year-round in USDA zones 7 through 11. In colder climates, it thrives as a houseplant or in containers brought inside for winter. Music. It wants partial shade and consistently moist soil. Think of how it grows in the wild along the marshy edges of streams and rice paddies across tropical Asia. It wants moisture and gentle light, not blazing sun and bone-dry soil. Here's the setup. Get a wide, shallow pot at Music, at least 8 to 10 in across. Fill it with standard potting. Mix. Plant a starter from a nursery or an online herb supplier for less than $5. Water it well and place it in a spot with indirect light, a kitchen windowsill, a shaded patio, or a bathroom shelf with natural light. Keep the soil consistently moist but not waterlogged. That is the entire process. The visual transformation is worth watching. Music. Picture the pot in week 1. A small cluster of round scalloped leaves that look like tiny lily pads on short. Green stems. By week 4, runners begin stretching outward across the soil surface like fingers, reaching for the edges of the pot. By week 8, the container is half full with dense, low-growing foliage. By week 12, you are harvesting leaves regularly, and the plant is producing faster than you can use it. Centella spreads through runners exactly the way mint does. In open garden beds, it will colonize any moist ground it reaches. In a container, it stays manageable and endlessly music productive. 1 plant becomes 10. 10 become a permanent supply that requires no replanting, no reading, music, and no second purchase from anyone ever. Harvest leaves any time by snipping the stems with your fingers. The plant regenerates from the base within days. In warm climates, it grows year-round without slowing down. For cooking, Sri Lankan families mix fresh leaves. Music into breakfast porridge every morning. Vietnamese cooks add the leaves to spring rolls and soups. In Thailand, street vendors juice the raw leaves into a cold green drink sold from carts along busy sidewalks in Bangkok and Chiang Mai. The taste is mild, slightly bitter and refreshing. For skincare, the options are just as simple. Crush fresh leaves into a paste and apply it directly to your face as a mask. Steep leaves in yoba or coconut oil for 2 weeks to create an infused facial oil. Brew the leaves into a strong tea. Let it cool and use it as a toner. Blend fresh leaves with aloe vera gel for a calming skin treatment. The active compounds are present in the living leaf. No laboratory required, no music processing equipment. Just a plant in your hands. Consider the math. The average American woman spends between $120 and $180 per year on anti-aging skincare. Many spend far more. That means retinol serums sitting in bathroom drawers, collagen powders stirred into morning coffee, vitamin C, creams on nightstands, monthly subscription boxes arriving at front doors, shelves full of bottles with promises printed in elegant fonts. A Centella asiatica starter plant costs $3 to $5. It propagates itself forever. Music. It provides fresh leaves for your skin and your kitchen and your tea for as long as you keep the soil moist. 1 purchase, permanent supply, no refill, no subscription, no reorder. Music. If supply chains fail, if shipping costs spike, if the beauty store down the road closes its doors, the plant on your windowsill does not notice. It keeps growing. Music. It keeps spreading. It keeps producing the same leaves that Thai grandmothers, Korean beauty labs, and Sri Lankan mothers have relied on for longer than any skincare corporation has existed. The question was never why Asia hid this plant. Asia hid nothing. Walk, music, through the Chatuchak market in Bangkok, and you will see bundles of fresh centella leaves stacked in neat piles beside jasmine and gingal. Visit a beauty counter in the Mangdong district of Seoul, and every 3rd product on the shelf features the word Sika in bold green letters. Step into an Ayurvedic clinic in Kerala, and dried centella sits in plain glass jars alongside turmeric and ashwagandha. The knowledge was always there, always public, always available. The answer is not conspiracy. The answer is structure. Economic systems promote what benefits economic systems. Research follows funding. Funding follows patents. Patents require control. Centella cannot be controlled. It spreads. It roots. It naturalizes. It becomes wild. It becomes free. The plant you set on your windowsill this week will be producing leaves by next month. Those runners will fill the pot by summer. By next spring, you can split it into 5 containers and give them to your neighbors, your children, your friends. And every single morning, that small music green plant will offer you for free what the skincare industry spends billions convincing you to buy. And don't forget, if you want to grow what the healthiest people on the planet are growing and start living like them, the centenarian's garden has got you covered. Go show them some love.